Next, please. So that's the general background. What I'd like to share with you now is, and as I said in the invitation, is how you decide whether or not your people are in fact ABC players, and when you make, how do you make a decision as to what you do with them? So the first thing I'll make a point is, I don't believe in annual appraisals at all. In my view, you should be assessing and ranking your team every quarter. So this is a tool I've developed, which I'd just like to take you through. So the first point is, so it's a quarterly talent review, and it's all about, do you have the right people on the bus? And how many people of your team do you need to challenge, train, or redeploy? Yeah, I was talking to a client just before this, and she was talking about one of her leaders who has had some significant personal issues over the last number of years where her husband has cancer.
Mm.
And, but she's been with the company for a long period of time. It's a very caring company, but right at this moment, it's got to a stage where they're just not performing at the level on the leadership team that the company requires. And I was helping my client. I actually took them through this tool to help them position a coaching call, a coaching discussion with the leader about how do they protect the staff and member of the leadership team, but at the same time, what do they do what do they do regarding her actual function in the company? So
Mm.
every quarter, we're looking to assess every person in the company. The first thing we look at is, do they understand how to succeed in the business? Now, I should say, I'm a bowerbird when it comes to collecting intellectual property and tools. I use tools from multiple sources, but I will always tell you where I get them from. Okay? In this spreadsheet, you'll notice there are a number of tabs down the bottom. The second one is scorecards. So I've just talked to you about scorecards. In here, we list every function of the company and the CEO, operations manager, in this case, Gibraltar, marketing manager, etc. And we list in what is the mission for the role. This is straight out of a Topgrading scorecard. So in this case, lead all functions of the business, which ensures a minimum 10% net profit. That's now gone to 20% with this company overall, with a target of 20% net return in 5 years, as well as increasing security of return through strategies which cement the position of a company as a preferred partner and employer. So that's the CEO's role. His KPIs make profit for the owners, generate a minimum net 5% net profitability by building up to 20%. Top grading principles, no C players and B players in the business by 30 December 2020, 80% A players, 20% B players, no B, C players by 30 June 2022. Now, the interesting point here is 20% B players. Why is that? Because when you hire someone, they can't just step into a productive role immediately because they've got to be trained how to be productive in the actual function. So that's why we make a provision for B players.
Makes sense.
Third one, leadership development plans, leadership team development plans, 100% complete by 30 January. Absolutely critical. If the leadership don't know what you're expecting of them, how do they perform? Customer satisfaction, this is a financial services company. Compliance is obviously critical. We lay out in the spreadsheet exactly what the KPIs are. And we do that for across the board. If you look at column J, Business Development Manager for Australia, their mission, as per the scorecard I showed you earlier, top grading principles. The top grading principles apply across the board for every leader. Leadership team development plans across the board. Then we get into specifics for the sales. Okay.
Yep.
One of the things I'm going to point out here is a concept called BAMs. I don't know if you've heard of that. BAM is bare asked minimums. So with a KPI for anybody, there are two types of KPIs. Firstly, there's leading KPIs and then there's lagging KPIs. The leading is what activities you must do to generate the lagging. So in the case of a salesperson, the bare ass minimum could very well be you're going to, or you have to, do a minimum of 8 face-to-face quality calls with prospects every week. You're going to generate $12 million revenue per month or per quarter. So leading is the activity, the bare ass minimum.
Yeah.
Call on so many qualified prospects, call on so many current clients, and then the lagging is how much dollars is in the pipeline, how much, etc. So there's 2 types, leading, lagging. And when designing the KPIs, we're actually looking predominantly to design the leading bare ass minimums, because that will lead to success on the lagging, which is revenue or whatever it might be.